Welcome to Coffee and RPGs. My name is Solomon SK, and thank you for tuning in for another episode of MMO and RPG News Roundup. Before we begin, I just wanted to let you know that I am selected to attend the Heidel Ball stay-at-home event in Black Desert Online. I'm very excited about this, and I will definitely be streaming this event over on my Twitch page, which you can find at twitch.tv/Solomon_SK. So definitely swing on by to see what's in store for Black Desert Online if you are a fan of the game. But we do have a lot of news to cover, so if you guys got your beverage of choice, let's cover the news together. Cheers to you guys. Really quick before we begin, I just want to let you know that Civilization 6 is free over at the Epic Game Store right now, and there is a rumor, according to Reddit, that the Borderlands The Handsome Collection will be next, but again, take that with a grain of salt as it is a rumor. So the first bit of news that I wanted to cover comes from MMOculture.com. Code T, a new Cyberpunk mobile game teased by NetEase. And I will admit, I was a bit disappointed when it said mobile game. Those of you guys who've been watching this channel for a while know that I do have my biases against that platform. Not always. I do play games such as Epic 7, for example, but I think it's still a game that's worth checking out and looking into, considering Cyberpunk is a pretty awesome genre of in itself. So it just go on to read that according to NetEase, Code T is a simulation game where crime and darkness are hiding behind the flashing neon lights of the futuristic setting. Here, players will become bounty hunters to maneuver along different forces and make their way to become quote-unquote legends, whatever that means. But as you can see, I have the trailer playing above me, and even though it's really flashy, it looks really incredible, it really doesn't give us much information about the game itself, unfortunately, unless I'm completely missing something. But it does go on to read here that here is a quick preview of the current 4 characters found in the Chinese pre-registration website, with the first 2 being bounty hunters and the rest labeled as informants. The author also suggests that these are character types rather than classes. And so as you can see here, we have the 4 characters that are displayed. So again, despite my biases against the mobile platform, I still think this is a game worth checking out and covering, and I will keep you guys posted as more information comes available. And sticking with MMOculture.com, Project Ragnarok, NetEase reveals ambitious MMORPG based on Norse mythology. So NetEase is actually have made a bunch of new announcements. But it does go on to read that the Chinese gaming giant NetEase revealed an ambitious in-development MMORPG called Project Ragnarok. According to details, it has a Norse mythology setting, same as Ragnarok Online, with a massive open world built for PC, consoles, and even mobile platforms. Of course, with the mobile platforms. But when I read that, it did remind me of other similar games that are also being made for both the PC consoles and mobile, which are Grand Saga and Genshin Impact. So again, maybe this is a good compromise for companies who want to capitalize on the potential revenue from mobile platforms, but also create something for us consoles and PC fans as well. It goes on to read that it was also mentioned that Project Ragnarok will greatly reduce the number of repeatable daily quests with a focus on one-time challenging events. Player freedom, quote unquote, is actually a core design concept, though we think that at this point of time the term is overused and underfulfilled, and that's pretty fair. So again, as always, I got the trailer playing above me, and it looks really flashy, it looks really cool, but again, it still doesn't really tell us much about the MMO. But in any event, this is another game I'll keep you guys posted on as I get more information. Next, we head on over to PCGamer.com. Bethesda confirms Fallout 76 Seasons will be free. The wording of last week's Season Pass announcement left some players wondering if they'd have to pay for it. And that's true. People thought that only the first season would be free, but they're confirming all the seasons from here on out will be free, which is good on them, because I feel like if they didn't, then the players would probably feel as though they're being nickeled and dimed. And from MMORPG.com, ArcheAge Unchained announces access fee for large patches, cites increasing challenge of delivering Unchained version. And I could already tell all the flames that are just all the angry posts already. And justifiably so, though. But They do go on to say that it's become increasingly challenging to continue delivering the Unchained version of the game and remain as true to our pillars of fair to play as possible. And they continue on saying, we know that there are mixed opinions about this, specifically related to our previous commitment around charging one price to access existing ArcheAge content, but for the past 8 months, this declaration has been fulfilled. And alright, fair enough, but I still don't think that you should put a time frame on what your promises should be. But on the other hand, I do get that they are not a charity, that they are a company, and they need to find new ways of revenue to help sustain the servers and the content that they produce. And of course, you have a lot of the comments saying that they're greedy, and maybe that is the case. I don't know. At what point can you argue that the company is just becoming greedy? I don't know. It's to me, it sounds like this version of the game is struggling a lot. But in any event, I will have this article down in the pinned comment section below and let you decide whether or not they are going too far this time. Sticking with MMORPG.com, new AA survival action RPG Frozen Flame hits early access this fall. And it goes on to read that Frozen Flame is described by the press release as a, quote, a multiplayer survival action RPG that offers a fresh take on the survival genre by enhancing it with deep role-playing experience, end quote. As a crowdfunded campaign, it exceeded the $50,000 mark needed and continues to raise money. The team, which is called Dreamside Interactive, has announced a closed beta in June on the PC as well. I admittedly don't know too much about this game. Playing the trailer above me, it's not necessarily my cup of tea, but I think it's definitely worth checking out just to see how they're trying to improve the survival genre altogether. And really quick, from MassivelyOP.com, Blade & Soul's Steel Bonds update is now live, and they introduce a bunch of other content updates as well as a new raid if you like. Back on over to MMOculture.com, Elyon, Korean servers to hold massive beta tests this July. And really quick, Krafton said that they recently announced that a massive beta test phase will take place in South Korea on July 25th, which is actually relatively soon because the rebranding and sort of the changes that they had to make to the game was actually about not even a month ago, or maybe 2, but they do go on to say the applications will be starting in June. So again, I'm really excited about this. It kind of sucks that it's only in South Korea, but I'll take any information and update that I could get, considering there really isn't a whole lot of steampunk MMOs out there, if any. Back on over to MassivelyOP.com, TERA dons Little Red Riding Hood costumes for PC anniversary as Gameforge takes on Russian publishing. So players will namely be completing Vanguard quests from certain dungeons. Clearing these encounters rewards Little Red tokens, which can be used to purchase Red Riding dress and accessories. Also, Gameforge has announced that it will be taking over operations of the Russian version of the game on June 4th. Players in the CIS territories will be able to transfer their characters and progress to a new server starting on June 2nd. Back on over to altchar.com, DayZ is free on Steam for a limited time. Bohemia Interactive has confirmed a free weekend for their open world survival title DayZ. The game will be free on Steam today starting on May 21st up until May 25th, 2020. Back on over to MMORPG.com, Wurm Online shows off new graphics in major overhaul rework currently underway. So the main visual upgrade is a new volumetric lighting system that is currently in the works, and that the team is also teasing new UI tweaks. This time the focus was on tooltips which appear when you hover your mouse over items. Back on over to MassivelyOP.com, Life Beyond adds construction, renames its planet, and temporarily ends PvP in its latest update. It goes on to read that it all starts with the printer tool, which first places down a free hologram of a room to help plan the layout of a settlement. After that, individual holograms can be finalized with the printer tool, which lets players pour out resources into the build to make it come reality. As for interior design, functional units like AI cores, storage, and refineries can be placed in building rooms. And this last tidbit of news is something that I do appreciate because I don't know anything about this game. But it goes on to read, if Life Beyond happens to have dropped off your radar, it's a Spatial OS sandbox MMO that first started life as Project C and has since gone on to be in our list of MMOs to watch in 2020. So I'm assuming, according to MassivelyOP.com, that this MMO has some awesome potential. Back on over to PCGamer.com, Sea of Thieves sails into Steam on June 3rd. Developer Rare said that it's looking forward to opening the game to a whole new community of PC players, and also confirmed that Steam release will have full cross-play compatibility with the Windows Store and Xbox One versions. But do note that you still need to create an Xbox Live account to play, even if you wanted to play on Steam. Back on over to Ultra.com, EVE Online Invasion's final chapter to leave lasting consequences. And I do apologize, it's cut off from the right there. But it goes on to read that the final chapter of EVE Online Invasion is set to add 2 new factions, one of which is Edencom, i.e. the combined human empires. The other faction are aliens, of course. What's particularly interesting for the 3rd chapter of Invasion is that players will get to pick their sides. Yes, you can side with the Triglavian Collective if you choose to do so. Back on over to PCGamer.com, Borderlands 3's next DLC promises a Wild West story adventure, and admittedly, this looks really cool. But it's being called Bounty of Blood, a fistful of redemption, and if you are a Clint Eastwood fan, I'm pretty sure you could pick up on where they got that title from. And it goes on to read, you'll travel to a small town of Vestige on the planet Gehenna to face off against a vicious gang of bandits called the Devil Riders, who have been terrorizing the locals. You'll meet new characters along the way, like Rose, who's handy with a pistol and a blade, and Juno, a rough and tumble brawler with a checkered past. Bounty of Blood will also add a new Jet Beast hoverbike, which can be outfitted with various bits of weaponry. Back on over to MassivelyOP.com, Star Sonata 2 plans a June 12th release on Steam. Long-running indie space sandbox Star Sonata has announced proudly that Star Sonata 2 will be launching on Steam on June 12th, meaning that people can find the title on Valve's storefront and existing players can opt to connect through that service. Sticking with MassivelyOP.com, Black Desert spin-off Shadow Arena has just hopped on to early access right now, and the full release is expected later in 2020 if you are curious. And in other Black Desert news, we head on over to MMORPG.com. A new compose and play feature comes to Black Desert Online, and this is actually really cool. I'd probably enjoy this more if I actually knew music theory and knew how to play instruments, but such isn't the case. But it does go on to read that this feature includes an editor to facilitate this composition creation, where people can compose music on any character, Notably, players will have to use the Shai class to play their composition, however. Compositions can vary in BPM, time signature, and amount of instruments played. And while checking out this feature, it does look very similar to other music making software out there, such as Fruity Loops. So if you're used to something like that, the user interface should have a low learning curve for those musicians out there. But finally, a new login event has started that can yield players up to $100 worth of premium items, and this is for the 3rd anniversary launch on Steam of Black Desert Online, so lots of anniversaries taking place within the game. And sticking with MMORPG.com, Planetside celebrates 17th anniversary with double XP. Just wanted to let you know that this event is going on, and I didn't even know Planetside was that old of a game. That is truly amazing. But also know that additionally a Memorial Day sale was announced, where all vehicle cosmetics will see 40% of their sticker price on May 25th. Sticking with MMORPG.com, Lord of the Rings previews the Tournament of the Twins coming soon to the Bull Roarer server. And as far as I can tell, this is their kind of take of a PvP server. But it does go on to read that in update 26.2, particularly again to that server alone, upon reaching level 10, you'll be able to choose to follow Elodin or Elrohir. Oh my goodness, I'm butchering these names. I do apologize. But yeah, you get to choose either of those two and gain honor through deed completion. By completing these deeds and gaining honor, you'll be added to the leaderboard. You'll also be able to take part in combat against those from the opposing faction. Again, their version of a PvP server, from what I can tell. Back on over to massivelyop.com, Legends of Aria's Point Release 10 is bringing frosty environments, new items, and new systems. And it goes on to read, Point Release 10 is opening up the frozen tundra region, and of course it has the frozen setting and aesthetics. But it does go on to read that Point Release 10 isn't only about the new environment, there are other updates coming as well, like tome system that lets players collect pieces of lore, and a trait system for crafting professions that grants bonuses to characters for completing professions. Back on over to MMORPG.com, Elsword receives a housing update, which it's kind of neat actually. The recent update is called El Housing. The new El Housing update will allow players to create, customize, and have fun with their own unique player-owned houses. Players that dedicate time to El Housing system will not only be rewarded with their dream home, but will be able to receive benefits such as receiving buffs to increase their stats in their adventure and inviting friends over to hang out. Lastly, there will also be a special buff event for players to celebrate Memorial Day on the 25th with double XP and unlimited stamina. And that concludes today's episode of MMO and RPG News Roundup. I do appreciate if you made it with me so far. The watch time does help with the algorithms, but if you haven't done so, please consider liking, subscribing, and hitting the bell notification too, as those also help with the algorithms, considering I'm still a new and small channel. And again, I hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday, have a blessed night, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers again, everyone.